There's a hand microphone right there. Jason, do you want me to time you?
We got you a timer here.
Huh?
There's one up front here. You need to use it.
You gonna time it?
It's been on the whole time.
No, I'm just talking.
That's what I'm saying. No, look, every time.
Okay. So you're gonna run it.
Yeah, just
Okay.
press play.
That's all I
do the
needed.
rest.
That's all I needed to know. Yes.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Jason Klein. And if you recall, we started out our group because we had a couple of thoughts that came together. One was Skip's, and Skip wanted to talk about how we value coaching, specifically enterprise coaching. And we also had another topic, which was life as a coach. I don't actually remember who that was. Okay, that was good. And so we ended up evolving this talk to be kind of the DNA of an enterprise coach. So we have a number of examples of what we think enterprise coaching looks like, and also some artifacts that you can use in your journey. So this is our team. We have a pretty large team, and our team name is NCC 1701.
Oh yeah. And sometimes as an enterprise coach, we find ourselves in this situation. This is the client, mad dog, bad situation. And so we talked and shared stories, and we're going to share some of the stories with you, some of the challenges of being an enterprise coach. And that was what started out our conversation. So we got to this vision statement, and it was around having more confidence and consistency in how we do this as an enterprise coach. And we came up with a framework. We shared a little bit of that yesterday, so that we establish value and we understand what a coach does, so that we can be clear and consistent on what we do. So we're going to start for the first story of a life of the coach, travel.
Hi, I'm Tess. We shared different travel stories, and we have many of them, but my story that the team chose for a larger audience is I was traveling to another country, and I didn't speak the language, and I took a cab to get to the office to my client. And the cab driver went a different direction than my GPS said he should go, and of course I inquired on that, and I got the standard 10 minutes, So about 45 minutes later, I'm still getting 10 minutes, and he tries to have me go shopping, and I don't want to get out of the car. I said, no, I have to go to this address. This is my client. So he gave up on the shopping, and we continued to drive a different direction, and then he pulled into a little dark alley. Well, the fight or flight, took over my brain, hijacked my brain, and I quickly decided to flight. So I grabbed my laptop and opened the door, and I jumped out of the moving car, rolled, skinned up my knee, ripped my pants, and I looked around, and all of a sudden there was a couple other people around besides the cab driver who stopped and ran back to get me. And I looked at the people, and I saw that one of them had a name tag on, so I thought he looked safe. And he had a moped, so I said, can you take me to this address? And he did, and he brought me then to the client, which took another 20 minutes. Anyway, the moral of the story is, when I got to the client site, I'm bleeding, I'm a little frazzled, and I talked to the client, and they were very concerned about me. And they assigned me a driver for the rest of my trip, and any of my returning trips, I had an assigned driver. And I learned to trust that the client would take care of me, and then I wanted to take care of the client. So we established that partnership. And I think that trust that you have as a coach with your client, it's good to try and even establish it prior to traveling to the client, and they can maybe help you. But I think that's important in the relationship.
So we started talking about, some of these struggles we have with travel is what does an enterprise coach need to have as part of their toolkit? They need to have some practices and tools and metrics and a certain approach and responsibilities and principles and a sense of community, learning paths, and competencies. And we're going to dig into some of these. And by the way, this will be available for anybody who sends us email or gives us a business card. We will share this deck with you. So we started with the life cycle. We said, well, if we're going to prepare ourselves for those situations and be ready for that, This is what we think of as the life cycle of an enterprise coach, and this may be something that you don't do just the first time that you come onto the role, but you may do continuously. And it starts with knowing the current state of discovery and listening to the client, listening to the customer, getting context, being able to start to look at goal setting. What does that ideal state look like? Starting to have negotiations of what can we do here? What is possible here? And then we start to set up a plan, and we want to make sure that plan has a feasibility of success. And we have a model and a timeline of how we can help them get there, how we can help them go down the journey. And then we want to be able to start to execute that plan. It's nothing until we do action. So we want to make sure we get the right people together, and it's not about the coach doing all the work, but the coach getting the people together and helping them figure out how they can make the changes and start to make the transformation. And so it's about that enablement and being able to have transparency through information to be able to see what's going on and to figure out where to navigate next. So we'll talk about the life of the coach, part 2, flying into the combat zone.
Thank you. I'm Chris. So I'm going to tell you a little story about an engagement where when I got on site, it was a lot trickier than I thought, just over the phone before I left. It was for a friend of mine, a colleague coach who had a client with multiple sites, and he's like, in one site in Colorado, they have a couple agile teams, they want to expand it to the entire division, so I'm like, okay, scale out, and they want to integrate it with corporate process. I'm like, okay, scale up a little, but no problem. And he's like, yeah, it's nothing you haven't done before. Talk to Klein a little bit. Felt great. Go out there. First weird thing I noticed is I go in the office, and there's roughly like 3 dozen Scotsmen. I mean, like, people from Scotland speaking really heavy Scottish accents, and I couldn't understand them for about the first half the day that I'm there. Which was a little weird, and there's a whole story as to why there's so many Scotsmen in Colorado. But so we got over that, and I thought, okay, you had a couple teams already doing Agile using Scrum. Like, I'll go find one of their Scrum Masters, see if they have someone who's competent, someone we can do some, knowledge sharing. I talked to a guy, he knows his stuff. I watch him. He's like, oh, he's a great Scrum Master, and I think we'll just have him cross-pollinate. And then someone kind of taps me, pulls me aside, and lets me know, oh, by the way, just so you know, that guy's complete shite. What do you mean? He's like, well, him and his wife didn't get along, and so she left him, and now he's with another developer from the Scottish team, and now the rest of us can't stand him. And I'm just like, really, you're kidding me. So not only, I can barely understand you guys, but the one guy that you have that really knows what he's doing, the rest of you don't want to work with him or listen to him. No problem, okay. Well, at least at the program level, I had been talking with the PMO, and he was totally behind Agile. He knew all the right answers, and in every conversation he was chipping in with the right insights. I thought, at least this part's going to go great. Sure enough, I get the tap on the shoulder, and someone lets me know, oh, by the way, yeah, he seems to really like you, but last year, he is so command and control, he actually killed 2 people. And I thought, oh, yeah, you're kidding, right? And he's like, no. One guy dropped dead from a heart attack, and another guy shot himself. Yeah, I thought, wow, this is not really real and weird. But, it just gives an idea of sometimes, the things that are at stake that maybe you didn't expect. And if I would have known that, I probably would have planned more time ahead to be there. But there was kind of a happy ending. They're doing well. We can talk about it over dinner. But.
And probably beer as well. All right. So some of the things we needed to do kind of to get into the battlefield, one of them is that we wanted to have a code of ethics that were actionable in action. So we covered these yesterday, but these are some of the things that we thought were really critical to agree on. If we're going to have that consistency of delivery, we're going to understand what we should do and not do as a coach. It's really important to understand what was possible. We also wanted to talk about how we can design alliance, and this was, I think, for us, the 2 days was the most fantastic piece. And Ewan, if you want to hear more about it, he can share some over beer and everything. But it's a great technique. And we have questions like this of, who do we talk to and how do we initiate conversations? And then we have powerful questions to start to talk to them about. You know, how are we going to work together? What makes your culture work or not work? How do you see great things happening? What would make us flourish? These are kind of things that would allow to powerful results. So the last thing we're going to do in Life of the Coach is getting to the Zen.
All right, I'm going to tell the Reader's Digest version of my story. So about 5 years before the Agile Manifesto was created, it was the first step on my Agile journey. At a ropes course, the most physically demanding exercise we had to do. 2 platforms separated by 5 tires swinging from chains. And the whole group had to split in half and traverse and pass each other over the course of these hanging tires. So most of the team had done it. There was one woman who was struggling mightily, and there were a few of us who gathered around her and just kept telling her, put your left hand here, put your right foot here, telling her exactly what to do. After about 10 minutes, she looked at us and yelled, and she was very mild-mannered. She yelled at us, would you just shut up? I'll figure it out myself. So we were all taken aback, and after a few minutes, we slowly started to encourage her, and that's all we did was we gave her support and encouragement, and guess what? She did. She figured it out on her own, and that was my first eye-opening experience in entry into Agile coaching.
So where did this lead us? This led us to a competency model, which I encourage you to look at later. And if you click on this link, you'll actually get into an assessment. But we took some of the great thought leadership that's out there and adapted it and came up to these different areas. You can see there's quite a few things that you can do as an enterprise coach. And then we came up with this role description. And it was really around, I'm going to get to the last sentence because I think that's the most important, is enterprise coaches engage with clients or internal customers to enable exceptional outcomes and to ensure that those results are sustained. That is the end game. That is what we're all about. We want to make a difference. And we want to take this customer from a point of being a mad dog to going to where no dog has gone before. So we'll make them fluffy, pretty dogs. So thank you very much. We had a great time with the team. Appreciate any questions afterwards. Come see any of us, and thank you.